Hi, Rose Gunter here. For those of you who know me, no description. For those of you who don't, I am a professional singer. That's all I'm going to say. For 45 years, now I'm 70, and many things have gone by. It started out that I had a passion and a muse to do something, and I wrote it on Facebook. Now, forgive me, I'm going to read what I wrote on Facebook and explain to you of how this series has begun. We give many shout outs to firemen, sanitation workers, hospital staff, transit workers, manufacturing employees, teachers, first responders. Absolutely, 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 at a time like this, the COVID-19. But why is this left out? Artists, yes, poets, musicians, dancers, actors, producers, studio technicians, authors. We, the artists, give hope, relief from suffering. In all ages, we are most ancient. Humanity becomes uplifted, sweetened, and refined. One of my deepest joys of being a singer is experiencing that firsthand. I'm amazed when I perform how many people feel so happy, sometimes sad. But whatever it is, they feel something. It defines them. Music is in the hearts of all and all on their tongues. Music speaks to all in a language that all can feel. Artists comfort the lonely. And let's not forget the comedians. Oh my God, laughter is the greatest medicine, especially at times like this. Don't want the artist to be left out of a job that we do, as important as any of the humans and jobs that I mentioned above. And I so appreciate them with all my heart. Please appreciate us, we, the artists. We are a very important part. We seem to have forgotten how essential the arts are to uplift and define us. We had leaders like Franklin Roosevelt, who established the Work Progress Administration, WPA. In the Depression, Nelson Rockefeller in flush times, who supported generous state spending through the New York Council on the Arts that made grants to dozens of community artists and performers. Jack and Jackie Kennedy, who established the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. Consider what we know today of ancient cultures. We know them only through art, sculpture, drama, music. It defined us. What will we know for hundreds of years from now when our government spends billions in subsidies for giant corporations, yet eliminates support of music and art in our educational systems and our communities? A Democrat, President Roosevelt. This is what he said in a time of polio that he had, which was a virus. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Right now, we are bogged down, and fear is being planted into our consciousness. Art has always seemed to have uplifted that and taken it away, even if just temporarily. He created the New Deal liberal agenda. The New Deal artists, administrators believed deeply that art projects had a responsibility to reach out to as many Americans as possible and put art into practical use. Rockefeller, a Republican, Business Committee for the Arts to promote partnership between art and business. Rockefeller, Republican, created the Business Committee for the Arts to promote partnership between art and businesses. Rockefeller highlighted the public's confidence in business and the arts organization to have certain standards of good citizenship. Art creates good citizenship. It doesn't divide. It brings us together. It always has, and it always will. He believed it would help and shape our environment in a very constructive way. No divisiveness. Also believing that it facilitates a mutually beneficial, inspiring collaboration, art and culture and corporation. defines us. How are we defining our culture now? By military-industrial complex? President Eisenhower, Republican, warned against that. He knew that we would lose our moral compass. Art defines us. It's not an option. It's for survival. It is as important as the food we eat. During the Depression, a person would take a penny and instead of putting bread on their table, they went and watched a movie because it uplifted them for days and they felt good, even if just temporary. Art defines us. It is not an option. It is survival. As important as the food we eat. During the Depression, a person would take a penny and go watch a movie, as they called it then, go to the picture show. And even if it made them feel good for a couple of days, it took them away from the tragedy and horror of what was going on. Could you imagine that they'd rather watch a picture show than eat a piece of bread? Because it defined them. It brought them joy. Who stepped up? Because there were so many cutbacks where homeless people were in hospitals and they were thrown out into the streets because they were no longer getting money to support that. Who stepped up? The artists, first responders. Robin Williams, Billy Crystal, Whoopi Goldberg, Comic Relief. This is 1986. They raised $80 million. Talk about artists, first responders. Why? Because it defined us. It defined that we did care about people. Who did the Live Aid concert? Bob Geldof, wonderful Irish rock star. He realized the importance of raising money to feed the famine in Africa. Princess Diana and Prince Charles opened up that concert. They believed it too. Again, even though it was in England and not in America, it defined us globally, not just in one country. We Are the World followed that by Michael Jackson in 1984, raising money again for Africa and famine. Small little things go on along the way, not as small as we think they are. For instance, Edward Norton, actor, created the Crowd Rise, very similar to GoFund, but putting money into this fund to raise money for charities of all kinds. Cancer research, people, Sheryl Crow, Seth Rogen, Eminem, Sean Penn, Common, Lady Gaga, all stepped up, first responding to this cause. Lady Gaga recently raised $128 million for protective equipment for healthcare workers during the COVID-19 and also for COVID-19 research. She's also involved with the Alzheimer Foundation, AIDS research, autism, Human Rights Campaign, cancer, Robin Hood, to name a few. Here it is. Globally, art has defined human beings. It still happens more in Europe. The Italians, during the COVID-19, and they were so nervous about what was going on and everybody getting so sick, what did they do? They sat on their balconies and they sang for days and days and days. By the way, that is on YouTube. You can check it out. In Asia, in terms of education, which I named earlier, education, art education has been taken away from the educational system over 35 years ago. It is not as prevalent and as available to us as it used to be. In Asia, part of their education, which is mandatory, is drawing, painting, music, as important as any other subject, which has been taken away in our educational system more than 40 years ago. There were many, many cutbacks. We all know that. But in Europe, they maintain that. It still continues. Why? Because art defines us. It is way more beneficial to a culture to be connected to art. Europe knows that. This country has become a country of extreme capitalism. The rich are getting richer. The poor are getting poorer. Here's a good thing. Technology has brought more available to us for music, for art, and many other platforms. That I am truly grateful for. But those are not the platforms I'm talking about. The platforms that I'm talking about is it not being mentioned on any political arena, not being mentioned on any television news station. Never. Art is never mentioned. It should be. Could you imagine if a show, not going to mention what shows, TV, our newscasting shows, if they said at the end of their program, okay, here's a song for the day. Everybody listen to that song. I promise you they would be uplifted. It's never mentioned. That which defines us, no matter what our ideologies are, whatever they are, art has no ideologies. Art has art. It's common. Everybody feels it. When I sing a song, there could be black, white, Asian, all colors, all genders. It doesn't matter. Every one of them relates to that song. Do you know that universe means one verse? It means one song. That's why music is the universal language. All hear it. No divisiveness. It uplifts us. It defines us. I hope you understand the message, and I say this with the utmost respect. Let's not forget artists. Artists in this way. The artists that have come before, the politicians that always supported it, which I don't see that now. I'm going to leave you with this. This was an anonymous, beautiful thing that I found, and I will leave you with it. Music, the most ancient of the arts. I am more than ancient. I am eternal. Even before life began upon this earth, I was here in the winds and in the waves. When the first trees and flowers and grasses appeared, I was among them. And when humanity came, I at once became the most delicate, most subtle, most powerful medium for the expression of the emotions. In all ages, I have inspired people with hope, kindled their love, given a voice to their joys, cheered them to glorious deeds, and soothed them in times of despair. I have played a great part in the drama of life, whose end and purpose is the complete perfection of human nature. Through my influence, humanity has been uplifted, sweetened, and refined. The aid of humanity, I have become a fine art. I have a myriad of voices and instruments. I am in the hearts of all and on their tongues, and in all lands among all peoples. The ignorant and unlettered know me, not less the rich and the learned. For I speak to all in a language that all can feel. Even the deaf can hear me. I am the food of love. I have taught people gentleness and peace. I have led them onward to heroic deeds. I am comfort for the lonely. I am harmonious discord of crowds. I am a necessary luxury to all. My name is music. Art, music defines us. Thank you so much.